Has this ever happened to you? What about this? As gamers, these sorts of things happen all the time, which is why we made LCS Challengers League emotes. Impress your friends. Stop sucking. Make better choices.
Since subscribing to LCS Challengers, my confidence has never been higher.
And with 3 easy clicks, yours can too! Plus, you'll be directly supporting the players in the league.
So what are you waiting for? Come join us!
Hello, and welcome back into the Rally Cry halftime show. We are almost done with our day here on Path to LCS. Of course, there is more League of Legends going on LCS Challengers, but this game is very important still, so make sure you stay tuned. As well, I have a fun little show for everyone planned, but before we do that, anything else you guys want to talk about with that last game? You know, get the elephant out of the room, or the duck, as it is.
I just gotta breathe, man. That was some intense stuff, back and forth. Go check AOE's Twitter, by the way. They have a pretty good summary of how this entire thing fell through.
Honestly, I think they're the same picture. They just posted 2 of the same picture. I don't know why they did that.
Maybe they can fool us.
Yeah, they think they can fool us, but they can't. And speaking of pictures, the halftime show segment I have for both of you is I have drawn a bunch of pictures, unfortunately, not with the chalkboard this time. It is with MS Paint instead. It was a little hard to see on the chalkboard sometimes, so try to make it a little bit easier. And by draw, I totally drew all of these pictures and didn't just take memes and copy-pasted them and then wrote some stuff over them.
Never that.
No, never. All right, are you both ready for the first picture? This one's going to be a bit interactive, so there is a bit of an interaction with it because I want to gauge your responses on how this went. So here we go. Our first picture, we have an axe and we have a bone saw. So, both of you, how are we going to rate how each of them did at each stage of the game?
What's the scale out of 10?
It's whatever you want. It could be out of ducks. It could be out of bananas.
All right.
It could just be a greater than, equal than, less than.
Cool. Then for the axe.
For early. Let's go early.
For early, 5 cheesecakes.
We get 5.
Out of how many?
Cheesecakes.
Out of 5.
Out of 5 cheesecakes. I'm gonna agree with that.
Oh God, I want cheesecake now. God damn it.
Yeah, we got 5 cheesecakes.
Uh-huh.
All right. What about mid?
Are we only focusing on the axe right now?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's axe and bone saw, like comparing the two. So it's 5 cheesecakes for the axe compared to that of 0, is what I'm assuming for the bone saw. The early.
Maybe -1.
And
okay, we're hating a little
-1.
bit.
So we got -1 over here. Oof.
We're hating a little bit. But
why is that though, Eric? Can you describe to me the emotions you're feeling with this assessment?
Disappointment. Concept.
Damn.
I'm sorry, bro. You got whooped in that early game, man. And it was a lot of disrespect to Dario Chopman and what Quacker could do on that. I mean, I'm usually impressed by Concept when he brings out some of these quirky picks. This was not one of those times.
Okay.
all right, in the early game.
That's that early game. Yeah. What about mid game? How are we feeling mid game?
Axe.
Maybe 3 cheesecakes?
3.5 cheesecakes.
3.5. Okay.
I can vibe with that.
We're gonna just say CC's. Okay, 3.5. So that means a 1.5 cheesecake for bone saw, right?
I'll say 2. I'll give him a solid 2.
Solid 2
I would give him a
cheesecakes.
1.5, but go with it.
Parentheses 1.5. All right. What about late?
Late game. I mean, you're Mundo, so for the bone saw, your whole job is just to be healthy and absorb damage. So you did fine. I mean, that's technically 5 cheesecakes.
Is that 5 cheesecakes? 5 cheesecake. Okay,
yeah.
5 cheesecakes.
God. This is the classic situation where, like, you play Malphite or something, you get clobbered, but because you have your R, people love you.
That's literally yes.
So
that's exactly what happened.
Does that mean 0 cheesecakes for Quacker then late game?
No,
It's a
he was still getting kills.
1.5, maybe a 2, because he was doing stuff.
Yeah, 2.
Maybe
Just,
2.
you know,
I would say 2.
Wasn't all the stuff.
Okay, so he gets 1.5 to 2 cheesecakes. Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. We've got the interactive point of this this thing out of the way. Now, we're just going to get into the fun one. Ready? Are you ready for this?
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I'm glad that was fun because I feel like you guys are going to like this picture and really appreciate this one.
Okay.
So, here you go. This describes the early game, I believe. This is what you guys this is kind of what you guys were going with how everything was I mean, you got what was it? 3 solo kills by Quacker.
Yeah.
And there's the one-time music, as you can see back here. He showed up to kind of help out and just be like, "Hey, here's the 4th one."
Yeah.
It wasn't, hey, here's a 4th one. It's, I guess I'll share some of my cheesecake with you, music. Music was just going up there to try and get something back in his name because it wasn't working out anywhere else on the map.
Okay.
No, not really.
No. I mean, it really wasn't. But there was some glimmers of hope for AOE, right? There was that one play mid lane where Supernova were pushing pretty far down the turret in mid. Actually, we're at the inhibitor, and then we have a magnet storm that kind of landed onto the duck itself and was able to get his first death of the game.
You know what? I really thought this was like, I forgot Rel's ult was called Magnet Storm for a second, and I thought this was like some like metaphor for how they somehow mind controlled Quacker to fight them when the whole team was out, because that was interesting. Yeah, but I mean, no, it was a good ultimate in that mid game coming through when they pushed the tier 3 turret. I mean, really, you forced a lot of summoners out, even though that's not the reason you got the kill on Quacker, if we're being honest.
I mean, it scared away a lot of people. It scared away a lot of people.
Summoner spells have value, so yeah, fair.
Exactly. So that was a good play by AOE, but it still didn't fully stop the Quack.
Nah.
Didn't
like
fully
that.
stop the Quack, because he did get that unofficial quadra kill as well, right at
That
Baron.
was crazy.
With the duck, my bro.
Yeah, he was very, very angry on that Darius, and as you can see, the 4 with the sacks there that I have going on here. Any emotions that you're getting? Is it reminding you anything of the game itself, Beat?
It reminds me of the Baron, where I thought Supernova actually had a really good chance of winning. Before that, I was a little concerned, because I think up until then and the entire game, Supernova were just rotating Quacker with them around as 5, playing for the most part no more than 1 lane at a time. And AOE took advantage of that really well. They were playing multiple lanes, they got a lot of advantages, and vision that got them control over the Drakes. Got them in that situation where they had soul point to play for, and then of course, they naturally picked up the soul in the end, which is a huge buff.
I want to say you could have also made like some kind of like In-N-Out meme there, everyone's favorite Los Angeles burger joint. Just because it was a double-double, it wasn't a quadra kill. They got a double kill and then followed up with another double kill.
That's what I said, unofficial quadra kill.
I was so weirded out why that didn't count as an actual quadra, because I know Beat saw the penta angle.
I thought, no, it's like, so for the first 4 kills, is a very small window. So apparently when you get the quadra kill, that's when you have a lot of extra time compared to the others to get the penta, which respect to Riot for that one.
Yeah. All right, we got one last picture I want to show you, and this goes back to the racing theme that you both had, but kind of leaning a little bit more into beatdown on this one, because we have the race car still on the track, and
Wait.
yeah, Eric, what happened?
What?
Why is it upside down? What's going on?
Yeah, could you explain? Is this a Stranger Things reference? Like, I don't know.
No, it got run off the road.
Oh, it's upside down.
Yeah, it got run off the road.
I understand. It like flipped, and yeah, I mean,
as you can see the smoke here, that's the smoke.
No, you're right. I thought that was, I don't know what I thought that was. It was accurate. That's accurate. Somehow.
Fuck tentacles.
Yeah.
Just there was no allowing in this game. As much as I would like that, that would be a lot of fun. But AOE were able to eventually run Supernova off of the road in that game to pick up game 1. But they haven't quite got to the finish line just yet. There's still another game to go between these two. Another chance for Supernova to take another crucial victory for themselves. So Destructs beat down. Why don't you guys get us into game number 2, the last one here on Path to LCS, and find out whether or not Supernova can pull off the miracle.
Certainly will, and I'm just going to make a reference back to the picture I had shown. I wanted to show that it's supposed to look like this, right? It's supposed to be this, but we're missing a little bit of it. We're missing a bit. We only got the plow upgrade coming in. We didn't get the tires. The chains got on the tires a little bit late. I do want to say that right now because Robbie Bob was able to get a significant shutdown to get himself out of the hole Darklings put him in. But, man, we didn't carry Sketch over to the mid game where he can have a bigger influence. Quacker still look good, though, while they're out there.
Yeah, he just remains that constant bright spot for this team. And the fact that he's been playing really well all split, despite the break and not really needing any time to ramp up, is really promising for him in particular. And it is tough. They don't want their season to end tomorrow. At least a win needs to come through here today, because if they lose, now I'm less confident about this one, but there is a world there's a likelier chance rather, if they get 0-2 today, that either Maryville or Taco could technically overtake them. There's a lot of math going on, a lot of scenarios. We talked about the Poldy sheet earlier. The point is, Supernova right now must win, increased chances.
If you take the win right now, you get a pretty significant chance of making it to playoffs. It does depend still on that Maryville University versus Team Fish Taco match. But right now, if you don't take this win, that could be the beginning of the end, because you have to face against FlyQuest to be Supernova FlyQuest tomorrow, which is a very, very tough team for Supernova to have to take on. So it's starting to feel very do or die, because Maryville does have a chance against Team Fish Taco.
They do, and I mean, FlyQuest is a tough opponent. They're already 4-0 this weekend, and they're looking to be one of the first teams to get the 6-0. Supernova need that win right here and now, and unfortunately, Quacker's Darius is not the way it's going to happen, since it's been taken out of the picture. It's AOE this time who will be able to first pick the Kaisa, as we have swapped sides.
I don't blame them for going for that ban, even though AOE still won out with the Darius in there.
It could have gone different.
Yeah, it was complete hell for Concept in that top side. That needed a lot more than just a band-aid to fix and remedy, make sure that Quacker was going to overtake the game. But as we take a look at the picks coming in, AOE going to draft in the Kaisa for the time being. Trevor going for the Rel, very good in his hands. 10 seconds left before we get that next pick to see what.
Wow, they're really extending the timer on that one.
Yeah.
You know, they're having a little fun with us, it looks like. But either way, I mean, the Rel is just a strong pick, no matter who ends up having it into their hands. So I'm glad we're seeing that one in Trevor's hands this time, so he has another opportunity to go for big, crazy engages. And now Music is also on a playmaking champion with the Sejuani. You have ways to go for ganks early on, and of course, that Glacial Prison, such a huge team fighting tool. Hopefully something Supernova can take advantage of.
Will, don't tease me like that, man.
He's done it. He literally did this against FlyQuest Challengers a couple of weeks ago. So it's actually a world where he does pick that one up. Maybe he's hovering to draw out the ban as well. A little bit of a jump scare.
Yeah,
oh, that's what's fun.
All right, now they showed it. All right, but it's still some of the answers that I really like from AOE. It goes back to not only what worked in that last game with Will being on that Wukong and getting those flanking angles that kind of triumphed over Supernova, but Breezy on the Alistair is such a menace. We've seen the way he's willing to just flash over walls to get the ball rolling for AOE.
Oh, speaking of ball rolling, with no Darius, the Olaf is up and available, and that's the Quacker special. Every time we see Supernova get a miraculous victory, it's always Quacker popping off on a champ like this. So already is going to pair really nicely with the Sejuani when Music looks for ganks. And is also, it's going to be that win con for Supernova, like he has always been.
And, I mean, we just saw Maryville use this exact pairing over on the top jungle duo, and it worked really, really well. Quacker likes to go Ghost. You'll have Sejuani up there. You can get those chain of CCs that can put Concept in such a miserable position. And if Quacker gets going on the Olaf, you still have a pretty good chance for Supernova to find their lead. It does put a win condition over to Supernova. Now, banning away top laners is going to be Supernova. So now it's going to be their first pick, Zaya and Silas, taken by AOE.
Yeah, and the Silas is a really good one. I mean, you don't want to give that away to Robbie Bob, especially you see Sedge, melee solo laners are so good with her, and the Alistar ult would have gone crazy. So instead, we're going to see what Supernova want to leave for the last moment, giving Robbie Bob that R5. I think I would really prefer, especially given you know the bot lane you're playing into. And Sketch, he's running back the Draven. Something that actually worked out really well for Supernova yesterday.
Yeah, and for those who didn't watch it, Sketch played incredibly safe, but still farmed up well. Yeah. And we were just wondering, is he going to die and lose 3/4 of his stacks, or is he going to cash in and get that fat paycheck? It was the latter. He got about 1,200, and it really did flip that game. So for Supernova, so Sketch being on this, it shows that Supernova are going for their hardest hitters that they found on the season.
Yeah, and Sketch didn't die that entire game yesterday, but I gotta say, a lot of praise over to Quacker on his Renekton. He was still that big point of power on the map, demolishing Fake God in the 1v1 time after time after time. Quacker is just king of solo kills in this lead, and he's gonna need to keep that kind of momentum going here if Supernova are ever gonna hope to get a win here.
I love this pick coming out for Supernova. Grabbing the Sindred, putting that on Robbie Bob. It means you do get some pretty good chain CC alongside both Trevor and Music playing the Rel and Sejuani respectively. You're going to need those chains of CC, a very long CC, because this front line is hard to get through from AOE. Yeah. Never mind the tanky front line that you have, but also Dark Wings on the Azir. Emperor's Divide puts a whole zone of control in AOE's favor.
It is nice because it offers them some CC, but also a disengage with that Scatter of the Weak. Exactly. But it's dangerous because Syndra, low mobility champion. Draven, low mobility champion. Even with that Blood Rush, it is still quite easy to get on top of them, especially with all the CC AoE have. Not only do Supernova need a lead to snowball in this game, they need to make sure they can protect people like Robbie Bob or Sketch so that they can win out these fights.
Right. As the draft now comes to its conclusion, we do have a little tweet we want to pull up, or maybe not. We'll just go straight into the game. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, we're pulling up right there. Might have lost game one, but as Deserex puts it, a truck is more reliable than a car. Based.
Very based. Even though, actually, I take it back. It's a little cope. But you know, it's Supernova's job to cope.
No, it's based.
No,
come on.
I'm sorry.
I got a pickup truck out there that's some kind of, I don't know, Toyota something. That thing is from like 1992. It's still running off 250k miles.
Okay,
man.
no, I'm not letting this go.
And look at what Supernova is. They've been around since 2015. They're the same case as the truck beat.
No, you're so full of it right now, bro. You think it's because it's a truck? Dude, it's Toyota. Like, those cars last a million years. They've lasted the dinosaur age. It could have been a two-door. It could have been a scooter, and it would have lasted just as long. No, I can't let that go.
No, you're gonna have to.
And yet I did it.
You know what? We'll throw a caster boxing event in the future to actually decide this. But now let's actually get focused on what's going on. I love that. This is the final game of the day, and again, the implications are huge right now. If Supernova do not win this, their chances are ever so grim because FlyQuest awaits in the future, and that is a really tough opponent for them to get past.
And you gotta understand, Supernova losing this game means that tomorrow they're hoping for a tiebreaker. And to get that tiebreaker, they're going to need to take a game off FlyQuest Challengers. And I think we've set up perfectly enough how difficult that is going to be for Supernova. It's now or never.
Yeah, this is nice from Sketch because you do have a bit of a range advantage. Can walk up rather earlier into the Alistair to get those cheap axes, cheap damage in. But the moment the next level comes in, that's where it gets slightly more dangerous. Still takes a bit before Kaisa is going to be a little bit more significant. But Draven, you know, you don't want to play around with that damage and give him an opportunity to find those cash-ins.
Right, and that's why my eyes are on AoE, to be able to pressure Sketch in this early game, get on top of him, deny those adoration stacks so that he doesn't ever really get off the ground on this Draven. That was one of the difference makers last game, on top of Quacker having a mammoth performance on the Renekton. And AoE, those are the two things you're looking to contend with against Supernova's draft this game. AoE, they scale, man. They have that classic double carry, front-to-back composition. So as long as things go even and they don't fall too far behind, this should be their game.
Always remember the threats that Supernova do have. One of those being on that top side with Quacker, who is on one of those signature picks, the Olaf. I said it in the last game, but Quacker enjoys champions that have Ghost because he wants to get in the face of your carries. He wants to get in the face of you, wants to get in the face of your mama and tell her it was a mistake giving birth to you. That is how vicious Quacker is, man.
Wow, that's very rude of Quacker. I gotta say, just like how he's been very rudely pressuring Concept in the top lane matchup here. He's used the Ghost, he's used the Flash. If he doesn't get the kill, he may end up losing out a little bit because it doesn't look like he got that wave fully shoved in. Will, especially being on that top side, is a good look. Starting to pressure this Olaf pre-6 is a great way to keep Quacker grounded.
This is what Sketch loves to do. Cooldowns are burnt, so he can pressure forward onto AoE's bottom lane. And he's doing it well-timed, but now he has even more attention down here. Unfortunately for him, it's scouted out both directions. AoE able to get wards in both the river brush and the try.
Yeah, but...
Oh, and it's a big butt at that. AoE able to get a headbutt away. Oh, caught out. One more axe and already cashing in. Sketch.
Wow, it's not as much gold as you may want on a Draven for a big cash-in, but it's a kill. It's some extra gold because of the passive, and it's a great punish here from the side of Supernova. You're putting the bot lane of AOE into the ground to start things off.
And a good start for Sketch, as you said, not the biggest cash-in, but enough to get him a serrated Dirk. Now 2,000 gold will be the leader by 400, which means that it's going to be more pressure on the Lynx, more pressure on the Breezy. Will might have to give some special attention towards the spot side.
Absolutely. You need to prevent Sketch from running away with this early game. He is going to be a big threat if he gets the lead. So that is going to be one of many options Will has to go for here. Quacker is approaching level 6, will have access to the Ragnarok, and that window for ganking is closing very, very quickly here. And it's looking like Will is content to leave Concept alone on an island. He doesn't get very much jungle attention as far as top laners in this league go. And it has meant that Concept on tank duty is just forced to kind of weather the storm on his own. To be fair, especially lately, he's been doing a good job of it.
Bringing the attention back over to Sketch, where Supernova did get their first blood. I do want to say, this last week of play coming out from Sketch has actually been really good. I think there's no secret that Sketch hasn't exactly had some of the best moments, some of the best performances in lane, and even in a lot of these games, in comparison to his colleagues and other marksmen. In this last week, though, looks so comfortable on the Draven. And to be able to step up at a time where Supernova need it most is very nice for the odds of Supernova, but still, those odds are very, very tight if you don't win this.
That's right. Basically an impossible situation here if Supernova lose today in terms of playoff contention. So they gotta make this happen, Eric. They need to turn this 1k gold into more, but they're in a tough position. The wave finally went through, and it is bouncing back. Look who's waiting in the wings.
There comes Trevor, but keep in mind, Breezy doesn't have flash, so it's a kill coming in. Not going to be a cash-in from Sketch, but with Music now waiting and arriving, it forces out the flash from Lynx. It's another kill for the bot lane of Supernova.
It's huge. Sketch doesn't get to cash in a second time because Trevor gets the kill, but it's still gold overall into Supernova's pocket, and you get Lynx's flash on top of it. And this is something that Trevor and Music both are going to be able to very easily take advantage of in these next 5 minutes. AOE really starting to fall behind.
Kind of struggling. They have to get an answer for this bottom lane because Sketch is going for really, really fast damage spikes. Got the serrated Dirk on the first back, Sheen on the second back, which he's going to be able to proc and really take it to this bot lane.
Yeah, and that's what you do with lanes like the Draven, the Lucian. You buy the Dirk and you sit on it for a while because the AD and the lethality do so much more for you because your attacks are ability-based. That's why you're seeing that one come through there. It's going to be the Trinity Force for Sketch afterwards. He built it yesterday. It was a force to be reckoned with. And even though things are a little slow, or at least slower than Supernova would like on the top side, things are fine. Dragon is still up. Rift Herald, though, Supernova's one true love is spawning in about 10 seconds time, and it's looking like that's where they're setting their sights.
Yeah, over into that direction, clearing the camps at the moment is Music as the Rift Herald spawns up. The trickier part for Supernova this time is Quacker doesn't have that dominant authority of this top side like he has in previous matches. On top of that, very, very low on mana, would need to get a reset to actually have some influence over that Rift Herald. Doesn't look like Concept's heading in that direction, but or will. wants to deal with the bot lane for the time being. Interesting. I thought that was a decent window for AOE to try and take a take on the Rift Herald.
So far, nobody's going for it. Instead, it's Supernova. Knowing that they are not the comp who scale favorably into that late game, they want to start dragon stacking, which is a wise decision. And especially because Chemtech being the first Drake means it's not Chemtech Soul. So there's a really good chance the Soul will actually be useful. Isn't that great?
Your spite for Chemtech Soul.
It's not spite. It's just facts, bro. It sucks.
Both junglers onto this bottom side. Music hiding in the tri-bush. Will is just clearing for the time being. There are some pings over towards the top side for AOE. So it does appear that that Rift Herald is going to be in their crosshairs quite soon. Camp spawning for Will into that direction. Concept has the wave pushed in. So Concept will be the one to walk over there and start it off as Will heads in.
Right now, AOE, like you said, starting off this Herald will be pretty good for them, all things considered. If they're able to secure that uncontested, there's an opportunity for them to set up a play, set up a dive, and pick up a lot of gold. There's a chance for a big swing coming through here on the side of AOE if they can take advantage. And props to the bot lane, AOE, Breezy, and Lynx. They know their jungler is on the opposite side of the map. They don't have a clue where music is, so they gotta respect that. A lot of gold, a lot of experience being denied from Lynx and Breezy.
Yeah. And of course going into the pocket of Sketch at the same time.
Oh yeah.
And this is a strategy that's worked for Supernova in the past in some of the games where they've won, where they draft for Quacker to have some sort of comfort where he's not going to get steamrolled over in his lane, and Music puts his attention solely onto the bot lane to try and get Sketch and Trevor ahead. I've seen it work before where Music did play Kindred, seeing him on the Sejuani this time while Sketch is on the Draven seems to be very viable for Supernova.
I will say, Quacker has been having a rough go of it. He's made a lot of attempts to go for solo kills against Concept. I think flashing on him twice, actually, and hasn't been able to secure it. And he's actually back on some pretty unfavorable wave states. And you're seeing that result in the fact that Concept has a lead. Quacker doesn't have teleport, so he has to be very careful about when he backs. And even though Olaf is still Olaf, you want to get a lead, especially in this draft as Supernova for Quacker, and he just doesn't have it.
And if Concept's not getting put behind, tank scaling is real.
Oh, he's gonna be
ever
thick.
want to ignore it. Yeah, he's gonna be the thickest possible. Here comes the Decimating Smash.
Oh my god.
And look at that. Quacker's not really getting that much done. I mean, cooldown's down for Concept when they're up. They do chunk away at Quacker.
They do. You can see how much work Concept's doing in the 1v1.
Dark Wings. Emperor's Divide, able to find it on Robbie Bob, gets his flash out and made it look easy.
And that's the other thing too. When you're playing an immobile, or rather low mobility type of mage, like Syndra, like Victor, into the Azir, you don't even need to get ganked, man. You can just 1v1, you force your flash out, and then set himself up perfectly, pick up some plate gold, and walk away. So isn't the big dive we were talking about and trying to allude to, but it is still value picked up from this Rift Herald, giving gold onto their mid jungle. The same mid jungle that turned around game one in their favor.
And value that is going to get this team into a position where it needs to for the later stages, especially with players such as Dark Wings. You want Azir to scale up. You want Azir to get up there because the DPS is phenomenal on Azir when it's sustained over time. Would be big for taking out champion picks such as the Sejuani, and especially that Olaf that's going to be running at you.
Yeah, you have that mobility as both the Azir and the Kaisa to kite out this Olaf, so Quacker could find himself with his Ragnarok expiring before he actually wants it, not being able to get the auto attacks to extend its cooldown. 400 gold lead for Supernova in a comp where you're hoping, as a Supernova or a Supernova fan, for them to be miles ahead at this point here, Deserex, but we just haven't seen it. Even the small lead Supernova had, that was just over 1,000, ended up whittling down to about 500 now. And as he said, Lynx Darklings, they are scaling up, even if they were a little bit behind, and you can see it in this gold grab. The up and downs, but at this point, mostly downs of Supernova's gold lead.
You can see how afraid Robbie Bob is right now. His flash is down. If Will shows up, easy Cyclone, easy Emperor's Divide. Would be the end of his life right there. And we saw what happened in game number one. Robbie Bob was hard focused, needed to get a shutdown to even be impactful in the later stages of that fight, and even then it was a big struggle for him, so he's trying to play it safer this time, knowing that Will likes hovering around that mid lane.
That's right, and I doubt that's going to stop anytime soon. We get the indication that turret plating is starting to fall. We're seeing mythic items come online across the board, and Supernova continuously feeling that pressure. Second dragon is about to spawn. They got that first one rather late, and you can see the vision and the priority Supernova have said. We already established why they're not scaling well. Dragon Soul is something they need to play for. And that's why you're seeing Music move towards this bottom side right now and hoping to get a setup here so Sketch can cash in and they get another Drake.
286 Adoration stacks so far. And still with attention put this way, it's Music not really trying to cash in as much, making sure that this Drake is going to be nice and secure for the name of Supernova. Big pickup if Sketch could cash in with these would be somewhere in the ballpark of like 800 gold, now onto 300 stacks. So Sketch, Music wants to get him going. Music needs to land a clean ult, try and take down the cow, try and take down Lynx, anyone, get that big bump of gold.
With that knowledge, AOE don't want to actually fight for the Drake. They're okay letting this one go. And they're happy just to go back to farming and get back to it. Hextech is a very powerful soul, so Supernova have a clear win condition to play for, and that next Drake is going to be a big point of contention for both of these teams. For now, though, Rift Herald 2 is spawning very soon, and AOE, they're okay with the slow game state. We talked about this. It's Supernova who have the onus, who need to keep going with this pressure, get more kills on the Sketch so he can cash in on these stacks so they can win the game.
Ooh, now here comes AOE. They're looking for Sketch. Flashing away is going to be Darkwings after using the Emperor's Divide. Here comes Concept, big tanky boy on deck. A catch out, Robbie Bob, wrong place to be. Scatter the Weak goes out, tries to find Darkwings. Darkwings almost going to fall. Trevor gets dropped by Will in the process as the rest of Supernova go on retreat. Darkwings finds his kill, and 2 down for Supernova.
Really nice teleport play coming through here from AOE. Concept finds the angle, again, taking advantage of the fact that Quacker likes to play these ghost champions. And sure, he's going to get a turret all by himself, and he is denying a good bit of gold and XP, but the damage is done. You get both summoners out of Sketch, you get 2 kills for AOE, and they are starting to take more control of this game.
And this teleport right here, keep in mind, Concept was doing so well throughout the top side, grabbed every single plate he could. Now you have this big wall of a man in your face.
Yeah, and the fact that Darkwings was able to force the flash and heal out of Sketch with the Emperor's Divide, it means that no summoners, or no relevant summoners on this Draven, he's not able to auto-attack the entire time. That one move took one of the big damage dealers for Supernova out of the picture.
And one of the rough parts about playing Draven is you do care about these adoration stacks, you do care about getting kills, but you also care about not losing your stacks.
Auto-attacking, maybe?
Yeah, so you end up in a situation where you're not willing to take as many risks in fear of losing those stacks. But right now, Supernova, to remedy that situation, cash them in, man. Go take someone out.
They will at least be able to get that second Rift Herald like we were highlighting for them. You see the trade on the other side of the map. Like AOE, gotta say, been playing the map really well in both games 1 and 2. They are trading effectively. So much of what Supernova has done is always limited by the fact that AOE are often getting something back. And it really just speaks to that growth, that improvement we've seen from this roster towards this back half of the split here in the second round robin.
AOE posturing up in the mid lane. Headbutt Pulverize lands on the Sketch. He falls to half health, and Will sees a chance to take away those stacks. Tries to get him with the Cyclone.
Oh, there it is.
There they go. 75% into the trash can. AOE claims Sketch.
That's a big kill that AOE needed to go for. And at this point, you're going to see the momentum of this game shift towards their favor. You're not worried about Sketch having a big cash in for the moment, and he still has both of his summoners down. And you can just see it, AOE, they're raking in the gold on all parts of the map, and Supernova, they are starting to feel the pressure.
Yeah, and the scaling, again, is working so well for AOE because they're getting ahead of the curve now at a time where Supernova did not press the issue enough. Azir scales so well, Sion scales so well. still can hold his own against a lot in these team fights. But here's one of the tricky things to deal with. When Quacker gets rolling, you got to remember that Olaf has true damage. No amount of armor can negate that.
And we're going to see the replay coming through here, even with the far side alteration. Spotting it out, Breezy gets the pulverize, able to slow down Sketch's retreat, and Will with the Cyclone both interrupts the Ferromancy and ensures that he gets the kill onto Sketch. Like you said, 75% of those adoration stacks done and dusted, gone.
And what Supernova were really going for to get that gold swing is taken away from them. So now they have to find another way to get themselves into this rather quickly. That scaling is a ticking time bomb that Supernova do not want to deal with. But that's the thing. AOE are good at setting up these plays. Yep. Will, Breezy, both great at angles. Dragon will be spawning in the next 15 seconds. Supernova, that's one of their win conditions if they want to match the scaling that AOE are bringing.
I like that AOE are focusing on this mid lane. They know that Supernova are looking to drop the Herald first. So everybody is here from both teams. The Hex Gates look at the minimap. Breezy is off on a flank angle. I don't think they know where he is.
That is a deep angle, Breezy. Here he comes. Here comes the cow. I'm sorry, Sketch. You don't have flash. It was so big. And AOE, full area of effect, takes Supernova and begin to destroy. But look at Quacker go. Quacker has an impact. Decimating Smash goes through, but still the DPS of Darkwings is available. Quacker able to get something back for Supernova to make sure that this wasn't a complete disaster.
But a disaster all the same, Eric. We win the team fight off what's gotta be in contention for play of the week from Breezy there. That flank angle, unbelievable. So deep, King Arthur wouldn't be able to pull him out.
Damn you, Pete.
We got him.
Oh god, you're making me reference the original meme on top of that.
No, that's not important. That's not important.
Get back in this situation. Yeah, that was thick nasty, man. That flank was absolutely filthy from Breezy. But it was what was needed. He knew that flash was still down from Sketch, so it was easy kill to pick. And now Supernova, this is the tough one. They really, really do need this dragon.
And it all came from AOE reading Supernova like a book, responding to every play they want to make or trading at the very least. So now AOE, they've spent their gold. This gold lead is going to ring true as AOE forced Supernova off of this dragon. And I think we got a 50-50 on our hands. This is for Supernova's soul point.
Yeah. Supernova are the ones on the Drake. Scatter the Week goes out and only lands onto Concept. Thinking about that Hex Gate with Trevor would be a long road back over that wall. Here we go. 5k health remains. Concept still a tanky front line. Here comes Trevor. Oh, beautiful Megastorm! Lands onto so many, but Darkwings can disengage on a dime! And the Cyclone is a hurricane that ruins Supernova! Even with Sketch trying to get something back, yeah, you cashed in, but your team is dead, buddy!
Oh my god, a huge fight from AOE. They have basically ruined Supernova's chances in this game. No soul to play for in 5 minutes time. More gold into the damage dealers of AOE Gold. And just like that, they've scaled up Deserex. They are the ones leading this game, and they are trying to close the book on Supernova's playoff hopes.
Man, Darkwings, look at how he denies the best engage that Supernova are gonna get this entire game beat.
That's right. I mean, this is the play for Supernova. You get a good angle from Trevor. You all want to jump right on top of it, but Darkwings, bro, is earning his paycheck and making full use of the Azir. Doesn't get hit with the Ferromancy, so he's able to get a 2, kind of 3-man Emperor's Divide, and by that point, so much damage came through. Sketch cashing in does not matter.
And he pushes them into Will, who's currently popping the Cyclone. It is a wombo you don't want to fill, but earth-shattering. AOE, the area of effect is felt, but the area is Supernova.
Oh boy, and the damage has been done. Gold has been spent. They're looking for a pick, but Breezy's so tanky, he wants to go back in.
Yeah, Breezy back in, gonna pop the ultimate, decimating smash from Concept. Here comes the Cyclone once again from AOE, one at a time. Supernova are funneling in, and that doesn't do you well in the team fight. What more decimating smash? A double kill for Dark Wings.
And a Baron for AOE Gold. It's going to be so easy trading 1 for 3. And I think AOE have everything they need to close this game out, Desurect. It's only 23 minutes, but they are making it happen.
And struggle so much for Supernova. Keep in mind how badly they want this win for the Supernova matchup. But right now, in game number 2, after dropping that game number 1, it's AOE with the Turo Baron buff, looking for a 2-0 and to contest higher up the ladder.
And 5,000 is the gold lead that they have. So much gold to work with, so many extra stats over on their opponent. And what a fight that AOE turned around. Supernova thought they had the angle, but it was a bait all along.
Oh goodness, 1 at a time, they basically kind of funneled in to this choke point. And it was, as you said, just a meat grinder. AOE bringing out the blender onto Supernova, and now poor Quacker, the Ragnarok gonna time out pretty soon. Will still go after Breezy. Teleport getting channeled out of Dark Wings, who shows up to the fight. A Scatter the Weak. At this point, they are not weak, they are the strong.
And this is just another chapter in the turnaround that has been AOE's second round robin here in the summer splits. Not playing up to the potential that we hoped for, but now, going into today, have already locked their spot into the playoffs and are looking to get the best seeding they can hope for, continuing with these great performances. 7th seed. I think they're playing above that, Eric. They are going to be a force to be reckoned with come playoffs. I'm expecting upsets in our future.
How awesome for this squad of AOE. The late season run that they're doing right now, you know, they only dropped to Fear. Everything else, it's been so much domination coming of the squad. They're absolutely massive. I think Darkwings played a huge role in this series in particular, and it's great seeing Darkwings doing what he's doing. I mean, back from the days of 100 Thieves Next, you know, and the terror that they did in Amateur back in the Proving Grounds era, getting here and being like, this is not exactly the Darkwings we're familiar with. He's kind of underperforming. As we get closer to playoffs, now we start to see that growth coming out from Darkwings as he clutches out these fights and rips apart Supernova.
And he's had a tough go of it too. The fall from grace after getting replaced by Insanity and Dignitas Academy last year, and then them going on with Perry, of course, to get 2nd place in the Proving Grounds. Darkwings was in a bit of a slump. Spring Split was definitely not the best we've seen from them, and the first couple of weeks of summer weren't any different. But now, he is showing us the Darkwings of old, showing us why we thought he was a player that we could see great performances from. And right now today, he's 6-0-6 on the Azir, 2nd week in a row of stellar performances on all sorts of champs.
And right now, Darkwings looking like the one winged angel. And for Supernova, I'm sorry, you guys are Aerith right now. They're putting the blade right through your heart as AoE surround this turret. And Supernova, even watching Concept alone by himself, don't dare cross the line.
That's right, and there it is. AoE doing what Supernova didn't do with the Turo Baron buff in game 1, affecting 2 lanes at once, pushing and pulling Supernova all across the map, making sure there isn't a move Supernova can make without losing someone. That's what I love about what AoE has been doing in this series these last couple of weeks. And we're just crossing T's and dotting I's at this point, SRX, despite what music might look for, despite Trevor's potential engage, the gold is just too great.
Look at that, an engage comes out from Supernova, but they immediately call it off.
Oh, yeah.
AoE says, not allowed, you gotta fight now, and Trevor flashing out. Inhibitor tower goes down, Inhibitor is exposed. Supernova, this is looking like Death's Door. Remember, they have FlyQuest tomorrow. They desperately need to find a comeback angle.
And it's not looking good. Okay, I thought someone was going to take that Hex Gate. That's right, Supernova losing here means their only hope of a tiebreaker is taking a single game off FlyQuest Challengers. Our 2nd seed, who's also been on a tear of their own, are currently 4-0 this weekend, looking for the ever-elusive 6-0. Supernova, it's not looking good. AoE.
Oh, no. There's Breezy once again, pulls in music. Dragon gonna be secured for AOE. Deep into the fight. Quacker needs some clutches right now, going after Lynx, but he just flashes over the wall. Follow through. Sketch able to claim one. Supernova still scrapping it up, but there's Darkwing.
Oh my god!
Oh, it's a double kill. Supernova able to get it. Concept is a big man. It's hard to take him down, but Supernova, when they need to most, with their backs against the wall, against Death's Door, with all the odds against them, they'll get a team fight right back, beat down.
That's so much gold. They just got into their back pockets, even though they lost the Drake. Supernova, they buy themselves time. They get to reach some of these crucial item spikes, a miracle I didn't expect to happen. And when they needed it most, Eric, let's look at this team fight again. That attempt to pressure Music opens up the doors for Quacker to run into the Dragon Pit. Look at how close everyone is. Of course, he can auto and keep resetting the timer on his ultimate. And despite Lynx's best attempts, it was a pretty fancy use of the Killer Instinct. He still ends up falling, and Supernova come out on top.
You're not going to get many opportunities like that for Supernova. As we said, this game is so crucial for them to win. They feel the pressure, and they've yet to break beat. They're still here, but man, it's an uphill climb to beat the scaling of AOE.
And that's even with Sketch at 4 items right now, Deserex. He's actually ahead of Lynx and does a lot of damage. But Darkwings is here at 4 items himself. He's been so strong for AOE these last couple of weeks and so good for this team today. AOE still have the gold lead. They still have that better team composition. Supernova are going to have a fight like that at least 2 more times before we can talk about them potentially winning.
Oh, and Quacker cannot be alone. It's all right there. Ragnarok going to be burned away, but Quacker does escape with his life. Big for Supernova. Baron started up by AOE. They're headed right into that direction. And if Quacker could get an angle where he chases in the carries into the pit and isolates them once again, it could be huge. That is why AOE are starting this Baron, because they know Quacker can't get there in time.
He doesn't have the Ragnarok either. They're just going to go ahead and go. Oh my god!
Oh, going in. Still looking for it. Not able to secure the Baron, but it's going to be a kill. Traded off. AOE still able to secure it. That's a kill going over for Supernova, but they only got Breezy. What a trade. Turo Baron buff over to Area of Effect Gold.
Hey man, 1 for 1 and the Baron buff in your pocket. We call that worth no matter how far ahead you are as AOE. Good taking advantage of the fact that Quacker wasn't there, didn't have ult, and now Robbie Bob is on the chopping block.
Ooh, Decimating Smash. Couldn't actually see the outline right there. Still grabs Robbie Bob nonetheless. And now Baron Empowered Wave crashing to the tower. Supernova, it's gonna take a miracle. Do you believe?
Right now, Supernova get a bit of a reprieve, but it's tough. You have supers pushing into the mid lane. Top wave is not in your favor either. There is no way you get this next Drake. Supernova, in fact, are in danger of losing the game at any moment now. The margin for error is non-existent.
Yeah.
Absolutely no room for mistakes here if Supernova want to get this win and keep those playoff hopes, I don't want to say alive, but possible, favorable, and oh no.
Oh, here comes Breezy, but a nice block coming out from Trevor. Sketch is able to flash away, and now can unchecked swing axes through. Robbie Bob, Scatter the Weak, Concept's low, running in is going to be Quacker, looking for the kill on the Concept. Here comes Darkwings, it's a 1-for-1 trade. Top laner's going to fall, but still going forward with the zombie mode. Concept, Breezy, low, Sketch gets the kill. It's another one, Scatter the Weak, amazing from Robbie Bob. AOE hopping into the back line, but it's a Killer Instinct going awry as Sketch rains axes through, and he's out for blood. He's out for redemption. Supernova will take down 4.
Oh my god, it was so close. Do you think if it was even, Supernova maybe could come out on top? But it's Lynx who holds out strong in the end, being the sole survivor on the entire rift. Yes, he has to pop an inhibitor. It doesn't matter. There is no time. AOE should have this one.
Oh my goodness. It was 4. Now AOE, 1 remains. Auto away, claim your prize before Quacker comes off. And with just 2 more to go through, you have no crowd control. AOE, it was a slugfest. Supernova fight back, but AOE have their number.
And Supernova are now in a position after getting 0-2'd. The only way they can advance or ever have a hope of it is by 2-0ing FlyQuest Challengers tomorrow. They are in dire straits, to say the least, SRX, and a tragedy has definitely struck them.
What a game, man. And yeah, they need that 2-0. Even though Maryville University and Supernova do have the same win-loss, it's Maryville University who do have the win on the tiebreaker. So having that same win-loss record means that if Maryville just get 1 win or 0 wins, they technically win out. Supernova need to get fate into their own hands, get back into this. But let's take a look at some of the damage coming through. Big highlight onto Dark Wings. He stifled so many attempts coming out from Supernova.
He did, and even though things looked a little dangerous, a little concerning at the end for AOE and AOE fans, they still managed to come out on top. Darkwings continues the streak of great games that he's had these last couple of weeks, alongside the rest of AOE, who have been constantly turning it up since week 4.
And what a game, and what an attempt from Supernova. I would like to see them bring that, at least that type of confidence and attitude into their final series with FlyQuest. But overall, AOE, it does put them in contention to overtake Evil Geniuses, depending on what goes on in the LCS Challenger stream a little bit later on, where they'll be facing off against Team Liquid. That's Evil Geniuses who will be having that matchup. But good for the standings of AOE, good to try and climb that ladder a little bit more, and spectacular performance overall to hold together and keep that momentum going after that fear derailing. AOE, congrats on the win. We're going to throw it to a short break. When we return, we'll have Mad Magical and Concept with an interview.
The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. Find your drive.
Hello, and welcome into the Verizon post-game interview. I am here with the victorious AOE Gold top laner, Concept. Good having you back on an interview. It's been some time since I've gotten to talk to you. So how does it feel getting the 2-0 over Supernova?
Well, I mean, it feels like a heist after how I played game 1, honestly. Definitely feels really good, really good. I was a bit worried there for a moment, but luckily, my teammates are so good. So
let's talk about that game 1 a little bit, huh? What happened? What happened?
Well, I could say that's how the matchup goes, but realistically, I got quacked. By Quacker. Got to give him his props. He definitely played better than me there. But, happens. Luckily, my team was good. And
you also got to play Mundo, which scales insanely into the game. So
that's scaling for sure.
Yeah, and that's something that I've been really seeing kind of in the meta. Like last time we talked a lot about the meta and how you were defining the meta way back when you were on Immortals Academy. But how have you felt you have fit in with AOE Gold, especially looking at the summer split and how you have grown as a player?
How have I fit in with AOE Gold? I mean, honestly, this split has been, I think, my best split. I think every split's better than the last, and this one's no different. I think, with the fall of NACL and everything, I think there's been a lot of chaos, but I think always when there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of room to improve. And I think, I've been able to get back to my roots, love the game more purely again, enjoy the game more purely with my team. It's hard to get into details, but it's been really good. Really good.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And you guys have been doing a really good job the second part of the round robins. In fact, you guys were, I think, second place among teams with your record in the second round robin. What do you think has been part of the success to get you guys this?
Well, I mean, I think we've been finally starting to gel as a team. I think just in my experience in the academy, this is something a lot of teams struggle with, and I've been really pushing to try to help bring us together and play at the same style. And yeah, we haven't even practiced it enough yet, nearly enough, but we've already, as you said, been making a lot of progress, and I'm confident that we'll be able to possibly even win the playoffs.
Oh, you got that confidence in you guys. You feel like you guys are really shaking off all the rust from the beginning. Everything is gelling well. Because when we look at playoffs, there are 3 teams that are really the big standouts that you're going to have to play since you guys did have that weaker start to the season. It's FlyQuest, Wildcard, and Disguise. Of the 3 teams, which one do you most want to play against?
I want to play against all of them equally, because I'll have to beat all of them in order to win the playoffs. So I wouldn't rank them. There's no preference. They don't really even register in my brain. I didn't know what 3 teams we were even talking about, actually, when you said 3 teams. I had no clue it was going to be them. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely not bad. I could see them being better, yeah. I could see them being some of the better teams.
All right, that's fair. I like that response there, Concept. And then kind of looking at let's look at some of the elements of your team. Looking at a player like Darkwings, he's really been popping off lately. Like these last 2 weeks, he really looks like the Darkwings we saw back when he was on Dignitas Academy. What do you think has been kind of the reason why we've been seeing him back in that form?
Well, I mean, I think Darkwings has always been, I think he's even better than he has been the past few weeks. Like you've said, he's been really good. But I think his confidence is not always 100%, but that's what the team is for. I think all of us on the team, including me, try to like boost him up, and I think he still has a lot of room to grow, and you can already see that he has been playing really well just from having, I think, more confidence. So it's been really good to play with him.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear you guys are looking like a strong team. You're really confident going into playoffs. So before I let you go and celebrate with the team, any shout-outs you want to give to anybody out there? Anything you want to say to any of the fans or even haters?
Shout out to the fans. I don't know if there's haters out there, but shout out to the haters too. Love all of you, fans and haters. Love all of you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Concept. It's always good talking to you. Miss talking to you. I still tell everyone about the Gale Force Garen that you talked to me about way back in the day. But, I'm going to let you go celebrate with your teammates, and I'm going to bring back the Casters, Desrex, and Beatdown Boulevard so we can run out and close out this day because we are done with the Path to LCS channel for day 2 of week 6. Only one more day to go, which means as we take a look at the standings, we have to check in. The race to the bottom is still the big factor.
Race to the bottom?
Well, it is, because right now, it's 2 teams are going to be in the bottom, and only one team will be that final bottom 8 seed.
Okay, we can frame that a little bit better, because when you say race to the bottom, it sounds like we're trying to get relegated now. But no. I do get what you mean. Yeah, that's definitely pretty hype. I also think watching what AOE just did, they overtook EGC in the standings with that last 2-0. For now. They do have a rough opponent coming up next, which is going to be TLC, the same one that EGC will be facing off against. But yeah, we're pretty much closing out on our standings for the regular season. It's been an exciting couple of weeks, especially with how close these standings were.
Yeah, and it's worth noting, Supernova not mathematically eliminated. However, they now, to guarantee themselves a tiebreaker, to guarantee themselves a chance to make it into top 8 and avoid the promotion tournament, they have to 2-0 FlyQuest Challenger. You guys might be wondering, since we're talking about, race to the bottom, look over to the left, look over to the top left. You see number 2, FlyQuest, 22 and 12? That's them. That's who Supernova have to smoke.
Yeah, they have to 2-0 them, and also Maryville have to either go 0-2 so they can get that top 8 seed, or 1-1 against Taco, so then they would tie and play in the tiebreaker game. That's how that would go for them. Oh, no, not for Supernova. I'm talking about Taco. But for Supernova, they have to get the 2-0, and then it has to be an 0-2 for Maryville, because then if Maryville do get the 1-1, they would not actually be able to make it past that.
No, but the thing is, Supernova getting the 2-0 means they're even with wins. So that's why it's a guarantee for FlyQuest, or rather, for Supernova if that happens.
Even if Maryville go 2-0?
Oh, wait.
Wait. It's Maryville who have the series lead.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
So if Maryville go 2-0 as well, then that's what I'm saying. Then it's over for Supernova. There are all these possibilities. We got the Foley sheet. We'll talk about it more tomorrow, I know. But before we round out the show, I do want to thank our sponsor really quick, Turo. The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace where you can book any car you want for just about any occasion. Forget your boring car rentals over at Turo.com. Everyone else, thank you for joining us here at the Path to LCS channel. We'll be back tomorrow for more games, but we also have one more series left to play on LCS_Challengers. Let's go watch, and you all have a wonderful night.